Why do some people look rich while others hide their wealth? It's a question that gets more real every time you scroll through social media. You see a young guy leaning on a rented Lamborghini. He's wearing designer clothes and flashing what looks like a diamond-studded watch. His caption screams about living your best life. But what if behind the scenes he's buried in debt? On the passive path, we dig deeper than the shiny surface. Let's pull back the curtain. In my years working in finance, I've seen the same story play out again and again. A young man wants to look successful fast. He signs up for monthly payments on a Rolex. He leases a luxury car for Instagram photos. He drops cash on expensive sneakers, jackets, and dinners. But here's the truth. He's not rich. He's just trying to look rich. I met a client once. He was in his 20s, working in tech, earning good money, but he spent half his paycheck. He came to me because his credit cards were maxed out. He didn't know how he'd pay rent next month. All because he wanted to keep up appearances. This isn't just happening overseas. It's right here in North America too. You see it in Toronto, New York, Miami, and Los Angeles. Luxury cars getting rented for the weekend. Photos taken, captions written, likes gathered, then the cars go back to the lot. The person returns to a tiny apartment and a mountain of credit card bills. So why does this happen? People think looking rich means they'll get respect. They believe designer labels will make them stand out. They think wealth is about what people see. But real wealth is silent. Let me tell you about some real millionaires and billionaires. Warren Buffett has a net worth over $100 billion. He still lives in the same house he bought in 1958. He's not buying new mansions every year. He's not covered in luxury brands. Mark Zuckerberg, he's worth billions but chooses simplicity. These people don't waste time proving themselves with things. They know wealth isn't about showing off. It's about freedom and security. A friend of mine is a business owner in Chicago. He drives a 10-year-old Toyota. He wears regular clothes, but he owns several properties bringing him steady income. He has millions invested. He can take a month off anytime he wants. No one would know by looking at him. That's true wealth, not the flash, not the hype, but control over your life. Here's something to think about. If you lost your job tomorrow, how long could you keep paying your bills? If the answer is only a few weeks, no designer watch is going to save you. People chasing status often end up trapped. They spend to look wealthy, but real wealth means never needing to prove anything. There's an old saying, rich people stay rich because they act. It's about spending on what matters, not what looks good on social media. Let's look at quiet luxury. Ever heard of brands like Brunello Cucinelli or John Lobb? Their products cost more than flashy brands, but there's no giant logo screaming for attention. Wealthy people buy quality, not marketing. They pay for craftsmanship, not status. Meanwhile, flashy brands sell you the feeling of importance. They make you believe the bigger the logo, the bigger your worth. But ask yourself, is your self-worth really tied to a handbag or watch? Why be a walking billboard? Your money deserves better. When I look at the passive path community, I see people who want freedom, not chains made of logos. Freedom means not stressing about bills. It means spending time with family. It means choosing work you love, not work you need. Real millionaires know this. That's why they stay low-key. They invest in assets, not appearances. They let compound interest grow. Don't fall for the trap. Don't chase looking rich. Focus on being rich. On the passive path, we talk about building wealth quietly, not flashing it for strangers. If you want real wealth, ask yourself one question. Am I spending money to feel important or to build my future? There's a big difference. Now let's dig deeper. Why? Debt is at the heart of fake wealth. You see someone living large on social media, but they're drowning in monthly payments. This isn't rare, it's everywhere. Let's talk numbers. In the United States, household debt hit over $17 trillion last year. In Canada, household debt is now more than 180% of disposable income. That means for every dollar people earn after taxes, they owe $1.80. People are borrowing money to look rich today. They're using tomorrow's paychecks for today's selfies. Credit cards, buy now, pay later apps, personal loans. These make luxury look easy, but they create a silent prison. One woman came to me last year. She made $80,000 a year working in marketing. On Instagram, she looked wealthy. Designer purses, luxury vacations. But she confessed she was $50,000 in debt. Half her income went to payments. She couldn't sleep at night, all because she felt pressure to keep up. Influencers show off expensive hotels, clothes, and cars. Behind the scenes, many are living on borrowed money. Or worse, they're sponsored to promote luxury items they'd never buy themselves. Why do people do this? Because luxury brands are smart. They use scarcity to drive desire. They release limited editions. They partner with celebrities. They build hype. They make you feel special for buying in. A handbag might cost $400 to make, but it sells for $4,000 because of the logo, not because it holds your wallet any better. It's the same with luxury cars. One lease payment can eat up half someone's paycheck, but the photos online look perfect. People believe luxury equals happiness, but that happiness fades fast. Studies show the thrill of a big purchase fades in weeks. Then people crave the next fix. It's a dangerous cycle. The passive path is about breaking that cycle. Real wealth isn't built on payments. Debt used wisely can build wealth. Debt used for appearances destroys it. Think about how brands market luxury. They want logos big and bold. They want strangers to recognize what you're wearing, because you become their free advertising. I see this in malls all the time. Lines outside luxury stores, people waiting hours just to buy a purse. Many leave with debt, not true wealth. It's time to ask tough questions. Are you buying because you love the item, or because you want strangers to think you're important? The rich understand this. That's why they avoid obvious brands. They're not looking for status points. They're focused on growing net worth, not likes. Don't let luxury brands trap you. Don't spend your future for fake status today. If you're serious about wealth, remember this. Your credit card limit isn't your budget. Your paycheck isn't all meant for spending. Your worth isn't tied to a logo on the passive path, so you can enjoy life without debt breathing down your neck. Next, let's talk about how the truly wealthy spend their money. Forget what you see on social media. Real wealth doesn't look the way you think. The rich don't rush to buy flashy cars or giant houses. They don't fill their closets with designer labels just to show off. They spend on things that bring lasting value. Warren Buffett has billions, yet he lives in the same Omaha house he bought for $31,500 in 1958. He drives a regular car. He eats at the same local diner. He doesn't waste money trying to look important. Mark Zuckerberg is worth billions too, but he wears the same gray shirt every day. Not because he can't afford variety, but because he wants to save time for decisions that really matter. Jeff Bezos, before he became the world's richest man, drove a Honda Accord. He focused on building Amazon, not impressing strangers on the street. A friend of mine is worth over $10 million. He wears jeans from Costco. He vacations modestly. He has a large portfolio of stocks and bonds. He's free to work or retire anytime he wants. That's true wealth. It's quiet. It doesn't scream for attention. Here's something people don't realize. Middle-class folks often spend more on luxury goods than millionaires. Studies show households earning between $100,000 and $250,000 are the biggest buyers of luxury items. Why? Because they're stuck trying to prove they've made it. They buy expensive cars, they stretch budgets for designer brands, they take fancy vacations, yet many are one layoff away from financial disaster. The wealthy avoid that trap. They know expensive brands aren't investments. They understand flashy things don't build freedom. Instead, they spend money on things like investments that grow, education that increases earning power, experiences that bring real joy, health and fitness to enjoy life longer, charity and causes they care about. They choose quality over flash. Brunello Cucinelli makes cashmere sweaters costing thousands. No big logos, no bright colors screaming for attention. John Lobb makes handcrafted shoes that last decades. These brands focus on craftsmanship, not logos, not hype. That's why the wealthy choose them. They want value that lasts, not status for strangers. Luxury brands with big logos spend fortunes on advertising. They pay celebrities. They create fake scarcity. They want you to believe your worth comes from their label. But the rich don't fall for it. They know most luxury items lose value fast. A luxury car drops thousands in value the moment you drive it off the lot. A designer purse is worth half its price the minute you carry it out of the store. True wealth isn't measured in stuff, it's measured in freedom. Freedom to live life on your own terms. Freedom from financial stress. Freedom to make choices without fear. On the passive path, that's what we aim for. A life. If you want to build real wealth, stop spending to impress others. Spend to secure your future. Spend to build assets. Spend on experiences that make life rich, not logos that fade in fashion. Ask yourself this. If no one could see what you buy, would you still want it? That's how the wealthy think. Next, let's see how spending money alone doesn't make people happy. How you spend it does. Science backs this up. Researchers at Harvard found 4 ways to spend money that truly increase happiness. Let's go through each one. First, experiences bring more joy than things. Buying a new gadget feels exciting at first, but the thrill fades fast. A trip with friends or a cooking class stays in your memory. It becomes part of your story. A weekend camping trip might cost a few $100s. A luxury watch might cost thousands. 10 years later, which will you still talk about? The memories last longer than the shine of objects. One man I know spent $5,000 on a designer suit, wore it twice, then hung it in his closet. But he still talks about the trip he took to Alaska for the same amount of money. He saw glaciers. He hiked with friends. He felt alive. That's the power of experiences. Second, spending money on... Psychologists studied people who received money and were told either to spend it on themselves or on someone else. Those who spent it on others felt happier. Imagine buying coffee for a friend, or donating to a cause you believe in, or surprising your partner with a small gift. The joy is bigger and lasts longer. A woman in New York told me she spends $20 each week buying lunch for a coworker who's struggling. She said it makes her feel richer than any luxury item ever has. Third, small, frequent treats create more happiness than big, rare splurges. People think saving up for one giant luxury is smart, but research shows spreading out small joys works better. Instead of saving for one expensive handbag, treat yourself to small things. A nice dinner once a month, a new book, a massage. These small moments keep your mood up all year. A man I coached used to save for a yearly big-ticket item, a fancy... He switched to spending smaller amounts on concerts, dinners, and hobbies. He told me his life felt fuller and happier. He felt less regret. Fourth, the anticipation of spending can be better than the spending itself. Planning a vacation can feel more exciting than taking it. Research shows people are happiest in the weeks leading up to a trip, not always during or after. Use this to your advantage. Plan purchases ahead of time. Look forward to them. Let the anticipation add to your joy. A couple I know in Toronto books their vacations a year in advance. They spend months researching places to visit, restaurants to try, experiences to enjoy. By the time they go, they've already felt months of happiness just imagining it. On the passive path, we believe spending should build happiness, not regret. Before any purchase, ask yourself 3 questions. Will this make me happy for a long time? Am I enjoying the process or just chasing the result? If you answer yes to these, you're likely spending wisely. Remember this, happiness doesn't come from spending more money. It comes from spending money in ways that matter. Next, financial freedom isn't about having piles of cash. It's about having choices. It's about not being trapped. Many people think financial freedom means buying anything they want. That's not true freedom. Real freedom means not having to do things you hate just for money. Think about 3 levels of financial freedom. First, the freedom to cover your basics without worry. Your bills are paid, your fridge is full, you sleep at night without fear of missing rent. This is the first step. Second, the freedom to choose work you love. You're not stuck in a job you hate. You can walk away if it doesn't align with your values. You work because you want to, not because you have to. Third, the freedom to be yourself without proving anything to anyone. You don't need luxury brands to show your worth. You don't care what strangers think. Your money is your tool, not your master. On the passive path, we believe true wealth. I met a man who runs a small business in Texas. He makes modest money, but he lives far below his means. He told me the happiest day of his life wasn't when he bought something expensive. It was the day he realized he never had to work for anyone again. He could say no to clients who disrespected him. That's freedom. Another woman I know earns $120,000 a year, but she spends $115,000 of it. She's constantly stressed, terrified of losing her job. That's not freedom. It's a trap. Financial freedom isn't just for the ultra-rich. Anyone can build it. It starts with managing your money wisely, keeping expenses low, growing income streams, avoiding debt traps, and focusing on assets that earn money for you. Your freedom grows each time you pay off debt, each time you save and invest, each time you choose experiences over status symbols. Freedom is not flashy, but it's priceless. Imagine waking up and choosing how to spend your day, not because your boss... That's the goal on the passive path. It's not about showing off wealth. It's about living life on your terms. Next, let's break down how to actually... Let's talk about how to build real financial freedom. Not in theory, but in practical steps. First, create income streams that don't depend on your daily work. This is called passive income. It's money that comes in even when you're not working. Rental income from property, dividends from stocks, royalties from books or music, income from digital products, or profits from businesses you own but don't run day to day. A man I know in California started with one small rental property. Over 10 years, he bought 3 more. Today, his tenants pay his mortgage and give him extra cash each month. He still works because he loves it, but he doesn't have to. That's freedom. Second, change your mindset from spender to investor. Most people earn money, then spend, then save what's left. That's backwards. The wealthy earn money, invest first, then live on what's left. They treat investing. I know a woman in Vancouver who invests 30% of her income no matter what. She's not rich yet, but she's building wealth every year. She lives modestly, drives a reliable used car, but she's on her way to freedom. Third, build a solid asset allocation plan. Don't put all your money in one basket. Spread it across different investments. Some safe, some with moderate risk, and some with higher risk for higher growth. A good rule of thumb is 30% in safe investments like government bonds, 40% in index funds or blue chip stocks, 20% in higher risk opportunities like individual stocks or small business investments, 10% in cash for emergencies. This mix helps you grow wealth while protecting you from big losses. But adjust these numbers for your own comfort and goals. On the passive path, we believe in balancing safety and growth. Fourth, invest in your skills. Skills make you money. They keep you valuable in any courses, certifications, conferences, books. A man I know spent $5,000 learning coding while working a regular job. In 2 years, he doubled his salary. That's a return on investment better than most stocks. Fifth, consider building a side hustle. A small business you run outside your main job. It could be consulting, creating online courses, selling handmade products, freelancing in something you're good at. A woman I coach started selling art prints online. At first, she made $200 a month. 3 years later, she earns over $5,000 a month. That's freedom growing. Sixth, understand your taxes. Many people lose wealth because they ignore tax planning. Know how to reduce taxes legally. Use retirement accounts like 401k or RRSP. Learn about business expenses you can write off. Hire a good accountant if needed. Saving money on taxes means keeping more wealth for yourself. Seventh, track your spending. But they have no idea where their money goes. Track every dollar, apps can help, or a simple notebook. Once you see the truth, you can fix it. On the passive path, we believe knowledge is power. Eighth, avoid lifestyle inflation. When people earn more, they often spend more. They upgrade houses, buy new cars, take fancier trips, but true wealth grows when your income rises and your spending doesn't keep living like you did before the raise. Invest the extra money. That's how you get ahead. A man in Chicago once told me his secret. Every time he got a raise, he pretended it never happened. He kept his expenses the same. He invested all the extra. Today he's financially free. Ninth, build an emergency fund. Life happens, car repairs, medical bills, job loss. Having 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved protects you from going into debt. 10th, protect your health. Healthcare costs can wipe out savings fast. Stay healthy, exercise, eat well. The passive path isn't about living cheap. It's about living smart, spending where it matters, saving where it doesn't, and always keeping freedom as the goal. If you follow these steps, financial freedom is possible, even on an average income. Next, here's what matters most on the journey to wealth. Looking rich is easy. Being rich is harder. True wealth is invisible. It shows up in choices. It shows up in freedom, not in logos, not in flashy cars, not in viral social media posts. Ask yourself every day, am I building wealth or just spending money? Every dollar you spend is a vote for your future, or a vote for staying stuck. Invest in things that grow, assets, skills, relationships, health. Don't waste money trying to impress people who don't care. The passive path is about living life on your terms. No fear of debt collectors, no stress about the next paycheck, no pretending to be someone you're not. If you want true wealth, remember these lessons. Avoid debt for things that lose value. Spend on experiences that bring joy. Invest first, spend second. Grow income streams that work for you. Never stop learning. Keep life simple. Track your money. Stay healthy. And always aim for. But every smart choice pushes you closer. Imagine the peace of waking up and choosing your day. No boss controlling your hours. No anxiety about bills. No need to prove anything to anyone. That's real wealth. That's the goal on the passive path. If this message speaks to you, share it. Subscribe for more. Leave a comment about your own financial journey. And remember, your future is built by choices you make today. Choose freedom. Choose wealth that's real. We've covered a lot today. We talked about why some people fake wealth. We exposed how debt traps people chasing luxury. We learned how real millionaires spend quietly. We explored how to spend money in ways that bring true happiness. We broke down what real financial freedom looks like, and we laid out steps you can take to build your own path to wealth. Remember this: looking rich is easy. Being rich is freedom. On the passive path, we believe in building a life where money works for you, not the other way around. If you found value here, like this video, subscribe to the channel for more ways to build real wealth. Comment below and share your thoughts. And share this video with someone you care about who wants to take control of their money. I wish you luck on your journey. Feel free to check out other